are tough. And over the last couple of years, donations have dwindled significantly while our group membership has grown and grown. For the price of a McDonald's meal deal, just $5 and some change, you will be helping to make a huge difference in someone's life. Please remember that in most cases, there are very small children involved. So go to helpstpete.org, click donate on the homepage, then enter an amount that you can easily afford. I suggest $5. Click on the box that will add a little bit more to cover the PayPal fee, then click the box that will make it a recurring monthly donation. You can donate through PayPal that way or even with your own debit card. Every gift you make is tax deductible.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web here on a happy
Hump Day
edition. How do we start off this show? As you know them, you love them, you got to have them. So here it is. Happy Creamsicle Day. You like the creamsicle? I hope you do. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. On tonight's show, we'll have the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions and Amped Up Sports. At 9:30, we will have Stan Author of I Love St. Pete. There's a reason why I'm getting him on. You saw the message. There's a reason why I love being a part of that group. 193,000 following. We'll talk Rays Stadium. We'll talk Bucs expectations. And we'll talk about, once again, what he's doing with the I Love St. Pete Fund. And then, of course, I think it's going to be award-winning eventually, even though some of you don't like wrestling and make fun of me. Turnbuckle Talk at 10:30 with the bodyguard of the Berg, Mr. Ralph Williams, talking WWE, AEW action, and as always, taking your phone calls. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. A lot of things to get to. Bucs joint practice tonight. I'm not sure if I like this display that I created, doing some different things here, kind of cutting off my head. So we're just going to X that out right there. There we go. We'll figure that out. It's a work in progress. I've been told, you know what? Your stuff doesn't match up. Your sound doesn't match up. So what do? You got to make adjustments like you do on the fly. That's what you got to do. You got to make those necessary adjustments. The tech, the professional the way this looks, the way it sounds, that means something to me. So if it's not on point, I ain't doing it. And again, if you are on point with this, go to the new website, thesportsweb.live. Amped Up Sports, hooking it up like they always do here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Go to that. You'll be able to see, like, and subscribe to what we always talk about, right? The Sports Web on YouTube. Friend me on Facebook. Inbox me if you like to. I'm all about football. It's football season, guys. This is my kind of party. This is what I like to talk about. And, of course, happy Creamsicle Day. B-U-C-C-A-N-E-E-R-S. Go Bucs. So there you go. Bucs joint practice today with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Not a great day for the defense. Trevor Lawrence with 4 touchdowns. Of course, their Saturday night preseason game up there in Jacksonville. Are they going to play their eventual starters for a half? We talked about it with the great TJ Reeves of the Buccaneer Radio Network. If you missed it, go and like and subscribe. Give to Facebook stars, by the way. YouTube Super Chats. Yeah, I do about 4 jobs. Yeah, I drive Uber, but, I like some appreciation for this content. Just saying. All right. Let me go out to the webheads here. As always, KR first and go Bucs. Go Bucs.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Go Bucs. Go Bucs. All right, let's go out to KR here. Can we turn off preseason injuries, please? Yeah, you would like to do that. Absolutely. Let's go out to Tim. Good evening, Peter. Thank you very much, Tim, for tuning in. Hey, Peter, what's going on? Scott. Christopher Cole, let's go Buccaneers. Let's go Buccaneers. Let's go out to Scott. Hey, Ray's not here right now, but thank you very much. You probably will be. I'm always first. You cheated. Laugh out loud. Go Bucs, says Roger Shoe, has hell frozen over.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Oh, wait. He said go Bears. This is what you get for that.
This guy sucks.
I thought hell froze over there. Let's say I was here before you're all. Absolutely. Scott, thanks a lot. Andrew there for helping me out. Leo, I see you in the back. Stand by. Let me read the rest of these comments. Let's go. Bring your Bucs passion. Bring your excitement. Please, no drama. Well, it's nonsense. And then KR, cheat this, Roger. You're just slacking. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get the legend on. You don't allow legends to sit in the back room. You bring them on stage because the spotlight is on, and here he comes. Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions and Amped Up Sports, Mr. Leo Haggerty. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. As a lot of expectations about this from the Bengals game. I don't know, we didn't get a chance to talk about that. So give me your thoughts on beating the Bengals on Saturday night and the preview there with the Jacksonville Jaguars joint practices. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend.
Always a pleasure to be on with the hardest working sports media person in the Tampa Bay area.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Coming from you, that means a lot because, your work ethic is second to none. You're covering the Bulls, you're covering the Bucs, you're covering the Lightning. You and TJ Reeves, you guys are my mentors. You guys are the ones that I look up to and I admire to be and want to emulate. So when you say that, that makes me feel good. With that being said, I think a lot of Bucs fans right now have to feel good about that effort, even though, it's against the second and third string. It's still preseason. Very impressive offense last Saturday night there against the Bengals, 390 total yards.
Yeah, and Peter, I don't know if you caught the question I asked Todd Bowles on the day after press conference on Zoom, but, boy, I'll tell you what, the competition in that wide receiver room really got tight. The wide receivers had a great night. And he said, 3, 4, 5, and 6, you can throw a blanket over right now. Yeah, you got Mike Evans, you got Chris Godwin, but after that, it's a crapshoot, and it's a good crapshoot. There's a lot of talent there, that's for sure.
There is absolutely a lot of talent. We've talked about it here at nauseum. Excitement throughout that building, not just Evans and Godwin, of course, being the two stalwarts, but of course the addition of Jalen McMillan there from Washington. Every time you see him on in training camp, he definitely has been able to get open, catch everything. He showed that last Saturday night. You got Trey Palmer going into his second year. You got Rock Jarrett making a big-time catch there. You got some other guys, Miller. I want to get to this really quick, though. Charles Richardson, you understood the assignment, my friend. 100 stars. Thank you very much. Facebook stars are out there. YouTube super chats. So give to the content that Charles Richardson sowed. Thank you very much. We'll have to have you on the evolution of sports talk television. With that being said, you're exactly right. And I think it's one of those position battles that I was looking forward to seeing, Leo, with the wide receivers. What would Trey Palmer bring in his second year? Because we saw flashes of brilliance, but in that playoff game versus the Eagles, the speed to kill, probably the fastest player on this team besides a Bucky Irving, if you will. But we also saw the inconsistency. So in your opinion, this game on Saturday night versus the Jaguars goes a long way in that wide receiving battle, right?
Oh, absolutely. Right now, it's a matter of putting stuff on film. And, Peter, I don't know if you caught the press conference, but Todd Bowles was asked, does he plan on playing the starters? He said, no, not in game 2, a little bit in game 3, but he had a little bit of a corollary there, a little bit of an asterisk. Said, if we don't get the work we want to get up at Jacksonville to practices, I may decide to play them a little bit. Now, if that secondary got torched for 4 times, but a pretty good quarterback, yeah, I get that. Trevor Lawrence, good quarterback, but you know what? You give up 4 TDs. That may call you to play a little bit on Saturday night. It all depends on who it was against. But, Peter, I hate to throw water on this party.
Well, go ahead. You always do that, but you're the realist, my friend. You're definitely the realist. So,
well, I was so hoping the Buccaneers would take that leap of faith and go up for the Patriots and go after Matthew Judon. Guess where he's ended up, Peter?
He ended up with the Atlanta Falcons. You're exactly right. That was breaking news here the last hour and a half as the Atlanta Falcons traded a 3rd-round pick for Matt Judon. We talked about that on Monday night with TJ Reeves and Jason Powers. And, $6.5 million, 32 years old. It would have definitely helped that defensive line, especially the pass rush when it comes to the outside pass rush. But I'm kind of envisioning that they believe that Yaya will be back in time. Looks like he's going to be healthy. And then they have high expectations for not only JTS, who's been largely disappointing, but also Chris Braswell. Hassan Reddick is still out there, but he's going to cost you most likely a 2nd or 3rd round pick. And he's going to cost you a new contract because he's already turned down about $25 to $28 million a year from the Jets. Do you kick those tires if you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because that window is open and this may be one of the weak positions, or do you run with what you got at this point? Which, by the way, Braswell looked upon. Jose Ramirez, I heard, had a good day today. So maybe your Jason Light in this organization is going to depend on these kids instead of going after a veteran. What do you say?
Peter, here's what the problem was. What were the 2 things we were saying all last year and all in the winter? What were the 2 things Atlanta needed? A quarterback and an edge rusher.
Yep.
Guess what? Now they got both. I just wanted to see him go anywhere but Atlanta. Anywhere.
Right.
Because now, you know what? Raheem Morris just walked into that quarterback room and said, hey, Kurt, guess what? We got your edge rusher, pal.
Yep, absolutely.
And, so that's a little bit scary.
Yeah.
The good news, Peter, and I like what some of the people were saying, let's get through the injury bug. Let's just get through preseason and get to that week 1 game. And Peter, what scares me about the first 2 home games for the Bucs, guess what time they're at?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. Guess what happens at 4 o'clock in South Tampa? Ba-boom, ba-boom.
Yes, absolutely. All right, let's go out to the phone lines here. Frankie, you're on with yours truly, along with the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty. What's on your mind tonight from Wisconsin? You ready for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus
Oh,
the
I always am. First off, what's up, Leo? The legend, the myth.
Love it.
Woo!
Love it. Love it. He comes in with the energy, my friend. So what's on your mind tonight?
I got to.
Okay.
And I know you guys are talking about free agents. Excuse
Right.
me. And there's a guy. I absolutely love this guy.
Okay.
And honestly, I can't believe he's still a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this part of me that's like, I really want the Bucs to sign him because it's a homer thing for me. But I just don't think he'll fit. And that's Hunter Renfrow. Like, I just love Hunter Renfrow. I love the guy.
I know you love that, but I think that's a position and a position that they're really good at this point, as we talked about it with the young players.
Oh, I know, but it's a homer thing, you know.
It's a homer thing.
I'll do it on Madden. I'll do it on Madden.
I know you will. By the way, happy Madden Day to you and all the Maddenites out there who play Madden football as I do, along with my friend. Which, by the way, I like to say this. I'll go full screen. Hey, James, with your Raiders, it was a good contest, but once again, the Bucs prevail over the Raiders. There you go. So I defeated him right there. Got to throw that out there. Let's go out to it, Leo. A wide receiver like a Hunter Renfrow, does that make sense from the standpoint of veteran presence, or do you think the Bucs are real good there with their wide receiving room?
Peter, this pains me to say this, but like I said, you're not paying me to be a cheerleader.
No, I'm not.
Hunter Renfrow isn't a fit here. And it pains me to say that because here's a kid from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, walked on to Clemson, won the Bullsworth Award for the most outstanding walk-on player. Guess what? He caught the touchdown to beat Alabama. And it comes from Deshaun Watson, who was a top 10 pick, to a walk-on.
Yeah.
Peter, the guy needs to be playing somewhere. Sadly, it doesn't fit here. That wide receiver room is rolling. It is rocking and rolling.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about Sterling Shepard, who hasn't made an impact yet because he's been injured, but you would think that they would be able to get him on the field eventually because there is some type of chemistry between him and Baker Mayfield to keep him on the roster. So,
and you know what, Peter, real quick?
Yes.
Another thing that Todd Bowles said when I asked him about that wide receiver, he made sure to say, we're going to be looking at guys that can play special teams.
Yeah.
That's going to be huge because they're not going to be able to keep there's going to be a pretty darn good wide receiver that doesn't make this club.
Right.
And that guy's going to end up somewhere. So you got to be able to play special teams if you're going to be 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
That's the way it's going to be.
You're exactly right. And look, Trey Palmer has the speed most likely to be on that special teams unit. You can use him for that new kickoff rule. We talked about Cam Johnson. He hasn't been healthy, but when he's been healthy, he's definitely shown out. So
what do you think of the new kickoff rule? What do you think? What's your opinion of that?
I mean, I'm hoping that there's there's definitely some big plays, but because I hate the old.
I think there's going to be a lot more action on kickoff returns, which I think we've been lacking.
Right. Leo, what do you think of the new kickoff rule? I mean, I'm still trying to get used to it. Like I said, I was playing Madden the other night.
When you watch XFL a lot, it's just kind of like, oh, this is different to see NFL players doing it.
Yeah. I mean, do you think there's going to be more big plays at this point? Will it favor the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with a guy like a Cam Johnson or Trey Palmer or even a Bucky Irving putting him back there on kickoffs? What do you say about the new kickoff rule?
Peter, 2 things. Here's what it does. Because you've got those people so close now, you only have to really block half the field because the other half is going to be out of the play. If you're going to see a lot of sideline returns, you're going to see a lot of people just kind of seal block back to the other side and try to create running lanes. The second thing, and Peter, this is what I'm totally confused about.
Yeah.
The onside kick rule, okay? you can't use it till the fourth quarter. You got to tell the referee what you're doing. Well, what does that mean? They're going to back everybody up to the kickoff line? Well, I'll tell you what. Isn't that sending a message right now to the return team? Oh, it's going to be an onside kick.
Yeah.
So there'll be no surprise. And that's crazy.
That is crazy. Let me go
I got
on.
one last question for you guys here
Okay.
before we get to wrestling and I pop back here. And this is a pretty big topic. It's not Buccaneer talk, but I want to get your guys' opinion on this.
Okay.
Brandon Ayuk has said there's like 4 teams that he wants to go to, with the 49ers being one of them.
Well, we were going to definitely talk about that. Let me interrupt you on this. The breaking news today of that story was that San Francisco and the Steelers have parameters to make that trade, although John Lynch and the 49ers still want a long-term deal done. So I'm going to go. I know what you're going to ask here. So what do you do with Ayuk here, Leo? Do you get him? And Frankie, thanks a lot for the call, man. Appreciate you. We'll see you on the second call there. I definitely believe it will affect the 49ers. But if you're the 49ers, what do you do here? Do you try to sign him to a long-term deal, or do you cut your losses and trade him to the Steelers, because it has been somewhat of a distraction, if not a distraction, in that locker room?
Peter, it all depends on what the dollars and cents look like.
Yeah.
John Lynch is a smart guy. He's not going to give away Ayuk. But again, he's got to make the numbers work.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. You got to find out how you can make that work. And let's be honest, general managers today are the most creative people in the world in staying under the cap. And if you look at what the 49ers have, that's a juggernaut on offense. You know, you got Christian McCaffrey. Okay, he's got to touch the ball half the time you're on offense anyway.
Sure.
Because, Peter, what have I preached to you about a quarterback? You need a good offensive line, you need a really good running back, and you need a great tight end to get down the middle. Hey, 49ers got all of them.
They
don't necessarily. Brandon Ayuk he's a really good player, but he's not option 1 or 2. He's option 3. Because you're going to go to McCaffrey, you're going to go to the tight end, then you're going to go to him, and you got another wide receiver you can play with out there too.
Well, remember, for that third option, because to me, he could be somebody's first option. I think that's what the Steelers are looking at.
Absolutely.
He got 75 catches, so it solidifies that offense and also gives either Justin Fields or Russell Wilson. Right now, Fields, it looks like, could be the starter, which is surprising. I want to go out to JC Abbott here. 200 stars. You ask for people to give to Facebook stars, and they deliver. Already 300 stars. Who will be the next one? And, of course, YouTube Super Chats are open. Let me go back to the preseason game, and we'll get out to Stan Arthur here in just a moment from I Love St. Pete. What is your thoughts about Bucky Irving? What were your thoughts about Graham Barton? Because on that second drive, Barton really established why the Bucs would draft him in the first round in the first place at center, clearing the way for Irving. I've said this before. I'll say it again. And this goes back to TJ Reeves, friend of the show of the Buccaneer Radio Network, a clone of Warrick Dunn. You can definitely see the shiftiness and speed there. What did you think of the two rooks and Irving and Barton?
You know what, Peter? This is Roy Cummings, a very good friend of ours.
Yes, we need to get him on the show.
Brought this fact to my attention. Almost 70% of the Buccaneers' run with White last year was between the guards. They ran that inside zone play to death. Well, now with Barton, that may be a play they go to even more. Yeah. Because he came as advertised, mean and nasty. And that's what you want out of an offensive lineman in the center. You want that Jensen clone. And that's what they're looking at. Now, let's not jump the gun on Bucky Irving with the, work done. He's definitely that type of runner. But there was no better pass blocker in the NFL than Warwick Dunn. Even at his size, he would take on anybody.
Yeah, I think that's also the most impressive facet of that game. Over 125 yards of rushing. It certainly seems like, they're going to focus on that. Liam Cohen is going to focus on that. And you saw the rhythm. You saw the pace of that offense. And once again, I always go back to this. You saw Todd Bowles getting giddy in a playoff game with his offensive coordinator. And it seemed like, hey, don't give too much away. But this is kind of what they're offering. This is what Bowles, I believe, envisioned last year. And he didn't have that. Nothing against Dave Canales, but he's never been able to call plays in the National Football League. So the transition process is tough. Cohen looks like the real deal, even after the one preseason game.
And you know what, Peter? I'm not going to throw Dave Canales under the bus because Liam Cohen last year would not have been a good fit.
Yeah.
They needed a stable coach to come in as the offensive coordinator. They didn't need to have bells and whistles. They needed to get Baker Mayfield comfortable.
Yeah.
And Peter, let's be honest. The first 4 or 5 games, he started to get comfortable.
Yeah.
That was the key. Canales didn't throw a lot on his plate. He just wanted him to get comfortable with Evans and Godwin. He wanted him to get comfortable with White. Little swing passes out of the backfield.
Yeah.
And he did. Now Liam Cohen comes in, and that foundation is there. Canales set that foundation. Everybody's throwing him under the bus saying, well, we weren't that versatile. We weren't that productive because we didn't have all those bells and whistles. Well, you couldn't handle it back then. Now you can.
Absolutely, and we are definitely comfortable with the legend himself, Leo Haggerty. We'll get you out of here on that, man. Appreciate the time, as always. Go ahead and promote yourself here on The Evolution.
You know what, Peter? You brought up a great point. The Sports Web Live is now on Amped Up Sports. You can watch this puppy right there. We are posting, talked with the girls soccer coach, who just happens to be the spouse of the former women's soccer coach at USF, who's now the coach of the pro team here. Guess what, Peter? They open up the season tomorrow against #1 Florida State.
Wow.
Out at USF. We'll be out there, Trace and myself. We'll be out there covering it, and had some good interviews today with Byron. Peter, real quick.
Yeah.
Byron Brown. It's Byron Brown 2.0.
Okay.
He is weighing in at 2.25 right now. He played last year at 207.
Wow.
You look at him and it's like, oh my God, he is huge. And believe me, they got some big guys.
Yeah.
If they stay healthy, I said this on the JP show last week.
Yeah.
If they can stay healthy and Byron Brown is quarterback for all 12 games, they can win 8, maybe 9.
And I tell you right now, we'll have that definitely covered for you. And again, collaboration with Amped Up Sports, as Sports Web has joined up with this entity. We're excited about joining up with Leo Haggerty and Trace, doing great work there during the season. Not only your Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday with the JP Peterson Show, but with Amped Up Sports on Saturday, covering USF Bulls action
from the red corner, right, Peter?
The red corner up in the press box. We got you covered, man. Just keep on tuning in. Leo Haggerty, thanks a lot for your time here on The Evolution. All right.
All right. I'll talk to you later, Peter. Have a good show.
Yes, absolutely. So let's get out to this guy here really quick. He is the admin of I Love St. Pete. And I met this man over at Ferg some years ago, and I just love the vision of what this group is all about. It's about helping people out who can't necessarily pay their rent, who have a chaotic situation. People say, well, you just like to talk sports. Yeah, I like to talk sports. I like to entertain and engage and make you think. But I also like to make an impact. And that's exactly what he gave me the opportunity to do here with this show, being a part of I Love St. Pete. Mr. Stan Author, welcome to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend. Great to have you on the show once again. How many, 193,000 following there with I Love St. Pete?
Hello, Peter. Well, we just clicked over to 194,000 yesterday.
Oh!
Very excited.
Love it. Love it.
We're on track right now to hit 200,000, probably right around my birthday, which is September 13th. It'll probably be right around there at the rate that we're at. We're adding between 3,000 and 4,000 new members every month. And we've been doing that for a long time. So yeah, very exciting. Let me say to you, Peter H. Blake, how excited I am to continue to have the Sports Web as our one and only live webcast, other than my own that I sometimes do. But you put me to shame with yours and what you've accomplished and what you do. It's fantastic, and I couldn't be prouder to have you on board. I pinned you up there tonight to the featured. You need to be doing that yourself because you can. You have the ability to do that. You need to be doing that. So, because man, I think people who are missing this show are really missing out. It's a lot of fun, and the way you've grown, the way I've seen this thing develop over the last, I guess it's about 3 years now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gotta be. Yeah, it's just been crazy. And I've super enjoyed watching your post-game shows after the Bucs games on the sidelines from Ray J. That's been exciting. You've just tearing it up, man. Tearing it up. And I think if we're talking about local, homegrown sports shows anywhere in the United States, heck, maybe anywhere in the world, the Sports Web is right up there with the way you present things, the guests you get on, and the content, the excitement is fantastic. I just offer you my utmost congratulations on what you've accomplished over the last few years and that you still keep it going. It's fantastic.
Listen, I love it. I love the Bay Area. I'm Florida man. I'm from here. I've been all my life here. I'm from Clearwater, Florida, the majority Newport Richey, Port Richey area, now on holiday, moving to Tampa here in the next couple months. So I love Tampa Bay sports. Everybody loves radio. I love the radio station here, but I also think there's an opportunity to do something a little different, give the fans the opportunity to talk about their favorite teams when it comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Tampa Bay Rays, and of course the Tampa Bay Lightning, and anything their little heart desires. And I love doing the post-game shows on the sideline. That's what I always envisioned with trying to put this show together. With that being said, again, I'm so proud to be a part of that group of I Love St. Pete, 194,000. I did everyone tag here. Don't kill me because I want you all to see what the evolution is all about and what the admin is all about. I got to ask you, I know that you're a big-time Rays fan because I Rays recaps. What did you think about the Rays in that stadium situation? How excited are you to have, once again, a new stadium in downtown St. Pete?
It's incredible. Just the fact that the Rays are staying in St. Pete is a huge thing. It's an absolutely huge thing. A lot of people don't know this, but when what we call Tropicana Field now, when it opened up, my wife and I volunteered to be ushers there. And we did that a couple of times, and then we're like, this is, we're not doing this anymore. But I will never, ever forget opening night of that stadium. It was Billy Joel on the Stormfront tour, and my wife and I were ushers, just, flashlights, and showing people to their seats and stuff like that. And I have just loved that place. I'm going to be sorry to see it go away, but I love what is happening. I absolutely love it. Now, I haven't had any new news in 3 weeks, but from what I understand, during the last city council meeting, it was a 5-3 vote, and we're on. We're in. They're talking about a $6.5 billion St. Petersburg development project, which isn't just a stadium. It's a lot of stuff, lots and lots of stuff. And I think for the future of St. Petersburg, I think in order to be in that place where a city like St. Pete needs to be, the Rays are a huge part of it. And I love what's happening. I love what's going down. I know also it's going to cost the city like $700 million over the course of 30 years. So, right. I mean, it's like, to me, it's a no-brainer. I love the idea. I love what they're doing. So many other cities, not nearly as the size of St. Petersburg. I mean, much larger cities have had far less kind of developments. and have not put that kind of faith behind a team like we have done in the Tampa Bay area with the Rays. Now, I still don't know how you get people to drive from Tampa to come over and see a Rays game. That's still a mystery to me, but I can't imagine a better. The last game I went and saw there, I live in North Carolina now. My wife and I retired last year, and we bought our dream home in the Smoky Mountains.
Congratulations,
and we have,
by the way.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We had been down a couple of times, but we last game I went to last year, it was just such a treat. And I don't know if you've ever met my friend Jeff Hoyt. Jeff is he is our one and only star realtor in I Love St. Pete. And he got the club seats, the club tickets and all that. And man, we just had a blast. And I'm just looking around that stadium going, man, I know your days are numbered, but man, we've had such good times. It's been so wonderful. Going to Ferg's before, which, man, did they have it together over there at Ferg's. There could be wall-to-wall people in there, and you could walk up to the back bar and say, I want some chicken fingers and a cold Miller Lite, and they will plop it in front of you in like 3 minutes flat. It's fantastic. I love what a culture over there. Of course, I've known Mark Ferguson for years. Oh man, I just love it over there. Can't wait to see. I guess they're talking about 2028, right? To have that thing open. Yep. And it's 4 years, so we got 4 more years to the Trop. But yeah, that's great. That's absolutely great. Rays had a tough year this year, but it's not every year you can open up with 13 straight wins, which really excited. Everybody got so excited last year after that. But still, and I was really sorry to see Randy go, and, especially with this whole cheering section and all that. But, something new will evolve. Something else will become great and great fun, for everybody there. Because it's always been about fun at Tropicana Field. It's always been a fun time. It always is very enjoyable.
And there's definitely some good memories. I like to see them have a couple world championships, and I feel like that's on ownership. And I tell you what, I want to go out to the phone lines here because this guy right here is a Red Sox fan. But we got Stan.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, Curtis from Newport Richie. We're trying to convert you over here. We got Stan author of I Love St. Pete. We're talking Rays baseball, but I know you want to chime in.
Listen, I've told you over and over again, you can't convert me because we can't consistently have a star.
Well, I think if you get that new stadium, I tend to be the eternal optimist. The reason why you want the new stadium in the first place is because Stu and this ownership will spend more money, and not only on their own players, but going out there and getting stars. I think hopefully that will change. Hopefully that will change, Curtis.
You know what? I'm tired of seeing people like Rose Arena and Blake Snell and all these guys that play for the Rays go to other teams and do great things. And then we're sitting here like, oh, he played for the Rays.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And, hopefully you can, you remember some of, let me go out to Stan here. You remember some of the fan favorites and Carl Crawford, of course.
Oh, yeah.
And
I go way back.
Yes, you do. What was it? Evan Longoria. What did you think about getting rid of Evan Longoria and some of these players? What do you think of ownership overall?
I thought Longoria was going to retire here.
Well, hold on, Curtis. Let me go out to Stan here. What do you think of ownership and how they approach the Rays? I know there's a lot of wins there. There's a lot of excitement, but never a World Series championship, and they're always one of the lowest spending teams in Major League Baseball. What do you think about getting rid of fan favorites? Do you think that's the reason why a lot of fans don't come out and support this team when we talk about Tampa going to St. Pete?
A lot of people don't trust Stu. I do. I trust him in the decisions that he makes. It's inevitable that these people are going to leave. It happens everywhere. Of course, you have franchise players in other cities. And that's not something we have really enjoyed over the last 20 years or so. But, I know that all the ladies in St. Pete heaved a heavy sigh when Kiermaier left, and we just see that over time and time again. And I'm this year I was like, really, Randy, really, but the dude's got to do what he's got to do. And I've never been in the chair that makes those decisions. So I wouldn't know what it's like. I really would not know what it's like. And everybody can kibitz and talk about, la, 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 la. It's all talk.
Yeah.
It's all just talk. And I trust Stu to know what he's doing and to be watching the bottom line all the time. I never seen him with a bigger smile on his face than I saw 3 weeks ago when he was in front of the cameras. He was on fire. That was great. That was really great.
He was on fire, and I think as sports talk shows, we've talked throughout the last 10 years about getting a new stadium, and now I think those shovels will be in the ground eventually to build that new stadium in 2028. So again,
not only that, but I think the plan that they have is absolutely the best plan.
Yeah,
best plan.
They've got prospects. They definitely filled that farm system up. You got guys that you're looking forward to throughout the season. What I want to ask Curtis, because even though he's a Red Sox fan and he's in Newport Richie, when that new stadium goes up, my friend, are you going to watch your Red Sox get beat by the Rays in that new stadium?
I'll tell you what, me and you can go to a game together.
Okay.
And we can get Harry the Greek and whoever the hell else wants to go.
Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, who's back in the green room. We'll bring him on in a moment. Yes, he's all about St. Pete. Yes.
And I'm going to wear my David Ortiz jersey.
Okay.
And I'm going to sit there, and I'm just going to cross my hands and eat a hot dog or some popcorn or something.
Are you going to have ketchup on the hot dog? Because we've taken garbage for that. I always usually eat ketchup on my hot dog with mustard, but I do it Chicago style. Yes.
Dude, you know what? I'm going to tell you something.
Yes.
This is going to sound so weird.
Yes.
But the older I get, I don't want anything on my hot dog.
Right?
I don't understand. Bro, like, especially because I only eat beef hot dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm going to tell you, oh, God, this is way off subject. Like, every time I go to Sam's Club, I got to have a hot dog.
Okay, all right.
I don't understand. I don't understand it, but
we all love hot dogs. You love a hot dog.
I mean,
a hot dog.
Yeah. I mean, but like ketchup, like I don't. You know what? It's crazy. I don't even really like ketchup.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay.
So,
all right.
But no, we can definitely go to a Rays game. Listen, I want the Rays to be successful,
right?
Because I would love to see Tampa, because I'm a huge Bucs fan.
Yes,
huge Lightning fan.
Yes,
I would love to see the Tampa Bay area win a trifecta in 1 year.
I would love that too.
It would. Listen, nobody would be able to say crap then.
Yes, you're right.
So
I want to know if they get that new stadium and they're able to pay their own stars and get superstars. Do you come over to the dark side there and become a race? All right.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something. I almost cried when the Red Sox traded Mookie Betts.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie to you, and I almost came to the dark side then.
Okay.
But then, like, I started watching the Rays because I hate the Yankees, of course. And I'm like, why are they trading all of their great players?
Yeah.
Like what? And don't get me wrong, they have a hell of a farm. But, these kids, they play 2-3 years. They have great years. And then, boom, they're gone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And as a fan, how can you root for that?
It's tough. It's tough.
I'll tell you who I feel bad for is Gen Zers, man, because they don't know. They just don't know. What it used to be like. They had no idea what it used to be like in baseball. And that's a shame. I mean, that's a shame. My wife comes from Chicago. She's a huge Cubs fan. And I'm just going back the 80s and 90s, just watching all those games on TV. It was so much fun. And all the franchise players had back then. That's not the culture now. It's just not the culture now.
It is not the culture now. Curtis, we got to run, man. Appreciate the call as always. I know you want to use the second one, so you can use the second call for Turnbuckle Talk as we talk professional wrestling, man. And we definitely going to talk some Bucs. All right. All right. Good stuff there. Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. We got Stan Author, the admin of I Love St. Pete, 194,000. And we got to get this guy on because he definitely wants to talk to you. And I want to talk more about what you're doing there with the I Love St. Pete fun. But here we go with his intro. Here we go.
Mr.
Best of the Bay, Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television as you're on with Stan, author here of I Love St. Pete and admin. I know you have some things to say. I know about your love for downtown St. Pete. My friend, welcome to the evolution.
Brothers, great. Thanks for having me. And Stan, I can't tell you, it's an honor. I love St. Pete, man. Pete's right though. Ever since I remember Bayfront Center, Moss Brothers, I almost remember Webb City, but I remember the one on Park in '66. But I remember St. Pete when it's nothing like it is today, and I've been so enamored. It's been my muse this entire last couple of years. As we've seen, I'm going for different angles. Oh, there's new buildings here. How does it look from here? And I Love St. Pete has been one of my favorite follows because it's got everything I love about St. Pete. So, brother, that's what I mean. It's an honor.
Yeah, and
That's really awesome. Thank you for saying so.
I want to ask you this because we continue to talk about downtown and we also talk about the Rays, but we also talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Happy Creamsicle Day, my friend. I don't know how long you've been a fan for, but talk about your fandom and talk about one of your favorite Creamsicle Bucks because it was tough to watch back in the day. What are your favorite Bucks of all time?
Stan or me? Stan.
Yes.
Oh, me? Oh, my Lord. Gosh, I'm drawing a blank now, but I was there for season 1, man, with Steve Spurrier as the quarterback.
Yes.
That was tough.
Now, did you know that the Bucs lost every game for 2 seasons until the last 2 games of the second season? They won both games.
Yes,
with Steve Spurrier. Yeah, man. Tough times, rough times. Mike Allstott has made a couple of appearances in my life over the last a couple of years. I was at Caddy's one time down Sunset Beach, and there he was. And it wasn't too long before that my band was playing there. And who jumps up and sings with us?
Mike Allstott?
No, not Allstott. I'm going baseball now. Oh, shoot, his name just went out of my head, darn it. But, I'm 67 years old. That's what happens,
Then you ain't Stan. You fit right in.
But he couldn't the baseball player because the baseball player the next year was traded by the Rays. So that's I'm sorry.
We're talking. I'm talking an real old timer. I've got the pictures and everything, but it's just too. I don't want to slow the show down or anything like that.
Wait, was it Wade Boggs? Because I remember Wade Boggs and Mike.
It was Wade Boggs. Thank you. It was Wade Boggs. So he gets up with the band and he sings "Sweet Home Alabama," and he was not sober at all. And it was just it was a real delight. I'm sure it was for somebody. We were just like, sure, come on, here we go.
Dan, do you know where I? Do you know where I saw it?
Where?
On I Love St. Pete. There you go, brother.
There you go.
So there you go. Talk about and what are your expectations for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year? I say 11 wins. I'm excited about what they did last year. 9 wins with Baker Mayfield. What do you see them? Do you agree with me on the 11 wins? Do you go over, understand? What do you say this team?
I'll say that I think they're a lock for the NFC South. I think they're going to win the NFC South.
Okay.
Baker Mayfield's going to have his best year ever. He's just going to be better. I think Tristan Wirfs is a great talent. I think that the front 7, is very much intact. I'm not the biggest Todd Bowles fan, but I just come from a different mindset. Or I miss the old days. But
I got you. Yeah. Have you worn
Chucky? I miss Chucky sometimes.
Thank you. You said it there. You put it out there. I appreciate that, Stan.
I miss Chucky sometimes. I think Liam Cohen is an excellent addition. For offensive coordinator. I think that's really cool. Everybody's got to remember Mike Evans had 13 TDs last year. ran for 1,255 yards.
Yes.
Always like Chris Godwin. I think if Mike Evans can get open and if Chris Godwin doesn't drop passes, it's going to be a great year. Not only that, but we got other receivers too. I mean, is Palmer still around? He's still in, isn't he?
Yeah. Got Jalen
he made a hell of a catch last year, man. Right in the corner, man. I'll never forget that one. There's a lot of new talent. Rashad White, I think, has a great future. And I think that he'll be good. You know, we got to stop those sacks, man. We had so many sacks last year. So I got so tired of watching Mayfield get sacked, and I just don't know what they're going to do about that. Talk about that, because I would like to get excited about that.
Well, you should get excited about it because you get Graham Barton out of Duke. He's going to solidify that position at center. That offensive line is going to be improved with just that one player. And then you got Tristan Wirfs and Luke Gedeke. There's some questions about what you're going to do at left guard. You know, what a right guard there with Mock. Is he going to be? Is he going to step up in his second year? But I definitely think this offensive line will be much improved. And you're exactly right. The sacks just absolutely killed this team. Have you changed your mind about Todd Bowles after they were 4-7 and then they run and win the NFC South, or are you still kind of teetering there with Todd Bowles?
I just, I'm old and set in my ways, and I just remember red-faced Chucky, just losing his mind. And, I remember now watching Tom Brady slam his iPad on the ground a bunch of times, and Todd Bowles is going, This is my Todd Bowles impression. That's pretty much it. I like the excitement. I love the thrill of the game, and Todd Bowles just puts me to sleep every time I look at him. But that's
talking about excitement of the game. We lost Monty Kiffin this year, and we know what he meant to those teams, those Chucky teams, and Monty Kiffin and Tony Dungy teams. But what did he mean? You're an old school Buccaneer fan that you can tell just by listening to not only your passion for them now, but going back. What did Monty Kiffin mean to you, having a guy like him? Because you talk about you like that fire and brimstone.
Monty Kiffin should have been in movies. I mean, he was such a character, such a character guy. Like, you love to hear him talk, you love to hear him get fired up, and I dug him, man. I dug him a lot, and we're gonna miss him a lot.
Definitely going to miss him a lot. We're on with Stan Arthur here of the admin of I Love St. Pete. 194,000. So happy to be a part of this group. I'm your host, Peter Blake of the Sports Web, along with Best of the Bay, Mr. Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy. Talk about what you're doing here. The success that you've had, news stations that picked this up. So many great stories about helping families out when it comes to paying their rent and other things like that. Talk about the I Love St. Pete Fund.
Okay, well, I started the I Love St. Pete Emergency Relief Fund about 4 years ago, and it was just kind of a random kind of virtual passing the hat kind of thing. And before I knew it, I did it for a few weeks, and we were just trying to raise a little bit of money for a woman who needed a car to drive 50 miles to work and back every day. And we got $3,000 in like 3 days. And so I said, let's keep this up. So we kept doing it and telling people, hey, we can help somebody out and do this. And before I knew it, I had $16,000 in PayPal. And somebody said, hey, you're going to get in a lot of trouble for that. So you better, yeah. So I got a hold of a tax attorney and an accountant, and we set up a 501c3 right away. And we've been doing it ever since. And we have had quite a run for the past few years of being able to, we set up a website. It's helpstpete.org, helpstpete.org. You go there, you click donate, and you can either make a monthly pledge of a few bucks or you can do a one-time gift. It's very, very easy to do. The problem is that in our current economy, our monthly pledges have been just dropping off. At one point we had well over $3,500 a month in monthly pledges, which doesn't sound like a lot when you're talking about a group that's approaching 200,000 members. And then things just start dropping off. You look at how the middle class has been suffering, and I don't want to get political or anything, but it's been rough with inflation and cost of groceries going up. 20-30%. Gasoline is 100% higher than it was 4 years ago. It's rough on people, and so you just ask them for $5, once a month. The same cost as a McDonald's meal deal, $5 and some change, and you get enough people doing that, and before you know it, we're getting $50,000 a month, $100,000 a month.
Well, like you're saying though, and that's one of the reasons. That's one of the most endearing things about I Love St. Pete, being not only in this group, a part of this group, but also, like I said, a favorite follow. It's like it's the tail wagging the dog. It's the reverse. It's the, they talk about a meta whatever, and that's what we're doing locally. That's what a site, an organization. I'm glad you got that organizational recognition, because you don't want to have too much in that PayPal account. It doesn't look great, but that we know that's not what I Love St. Pete's all about. So talk about that. Isn't that one of the best things about not only being a part of I Love St. Pete, but also following it, is it's the tail wagging the dog. It's the us having it say locally and making a change or difference in people's lives.
Absolutely. Now, I've been running I Love St. Pete for 15 years. I started it in 2009. And after 6 years, we had 5,000 members. And I thought, oh, man, that's it. We're doing it now. I think when we hit 5,000, Facebook hit some kind of switch or something, because it was like the hockey stick effect, and membership just started zooming through the sky. And it wasn't, we had about 50,000 members, and I thought to myself, with great power comes great responsibility, and that is giving back to the community. And after so many years of running I Love St. Pete, and you guys have no idea what it's like to try to admin a group with this many people.
I can only imagine.
Well, I gotta get rid of people every day. I don't want to let anybody see how the sausage gets made.
And even a couple of losers like Peter and myself, we get those, those pop-ins, those DMs, you get those follows, and you're like, hey, hold on a minute, we're trying to keep this thing legit, and we're a couple of losers. We're nothing like I Love St. Pete.
Well, we started this donation thing, just thinking we're going to help a few people here and there, somebody who might be getting evicted because they can't afford their rent, or get groceries for them, for their kids. Most of the time there are small children involved. Almost every time there's small children involved. And a problem we ran into this year, especially last year when the economy got really bad, was that we started getting scammers left and right. We had a whole organized cabal of people that were organizing, trying to get money out of the I Love St. Pete Emergency Relief Fund. I don't want to talk about that too much because I don't want to give their secrets away, but how they were trying to do it. I recognized it immediately, and we put the kibosh on that. And it was dangerous. It was very dangerous. We started getting threatening stuff in our text messages and stuff, and really nasty stuff. Me, my daughter, and everything. They got hold of our phone numbers, and so I said, time to change up. So we changed it up, and now we're giving out one award each month to whoever I feel from the applications we get is the most worthy of a larger award rather than a bunch of small awards. So that's been working out great. So we're holding it down to major catastrophes now, house fires, floods, serious personal injury. We had a guy broke his back a couple of months ago, couldn't work, couldn't feed. He had a 3-week-old baby. Oh my goodness. So stuff like that. And I don't know if you saw the last one, a woman who had been married for 4 years and her husband dropped dead, dead.
Yes, I saw that.
Without any warning at all, he just completely dropped dead. And I just worked as hard as I could to try to help her out of the situation she was in because of that situation. We did a surgery for a 3-month-old baby it was basically life-saving surgery, and her parents didn't even have the co-pays to be able to make that happen. And we put that together. It's me doing this. There's nobody else doing it. Of course, we got an organization, and we have a board because you have to have a 501c3 and all that. But it's just me doing all this. Is trying to get these donations in, trying to get new monthly pledges, and I've been pushing it hard here in August, and it's been working. We've got at least $2,000 now in new monthly pledges, and that's exciting. That's very exciting. I'd like for it to be, $100,000 in new pledges, and that might be coming. Who knows? But we'll see. We'll see how things develop over the next couple of years.
Well, my friend, you know you're always welcome here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Anytime you want to promote something, you have something going on, whether it involves the I Love St. Pete Fund, your band, whatever you want to do, my friend.
I don't have a band anymore.
Well, who knows? Who knows?
We got a trio right here.
Right.
I can do the ukulele. Wait, how do you play the ukulele?
Nice.
Nobody wants to hear that, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. But once again, Stan Author, thanks a lot for your time. Go ahead and promote everything that you're doing here with I Love St. Pete.
Well, I just would like to let people know that if they can remember a simple website, and that is helpstpete.org, helpstpete.org. And all I'm asking for is like $5 once a month to help somebody out, to give back to this community that has been so good to me. And I was in St. Pete since 1965. And just, you talk about Moss Brothers and Webb City and all that. I used to jump on the city bus outside of my house in Old Northeast and ride it down to Williams Park. I get off the bus. I go to the Florida Theater, which was a movie palace back in the day.
It was.
I would watch Saturday afternoon from noon until 6 p.m. triple feature Hammer horror films.
There you go.
It was 50 cents or 10 RC Cola bottle caps.
Well, listen, we grew up on Channel 44. Consequently, I got a chance to work for them as a multimedia journalist. But I know you're into horror. What did you think about Dr. Paul Bear there? You also had Hooters at the movies. I mean, those were the days. But Dr. Paul Bear.
Oh, yeah. Before Paul Bearer, there was a big thing on, they used to be called Big 13, before it was Fox 13. And we had Shock Theater with Shock Armstrong. And he was Shock Armstrong, the All-American Ghoul. And he was a big guy in a football uniform wearing a Frankenstein mask.
Stan, Pulse 13. Right, with Hugh Smith.
Oh, yeah, Pulse. Yeah, Hugh Smith.
I'm trying to remember the OG, not Paul Delegado. Who was the OG? Roy Leap. Oh, my God.
Roy Leap. Yeah. Yep. And on Channel 8, we had Arch Deal on Channel 8.
I didn't like them. I'm kidding. Yeah. Arch Deal was great. Yeah. Salty Sal, though, the fishing report.
Salty Sal Flashman, yeah.
Salty Sal. And then Andy Hardy, right? Legends.
Andy Hardy, legend.
Let's get together and talk again. I think we got a lot of unfinished business here, brother.
Yeah, I miss those days. St. Pete, man, my home. My mom graduated from St. Pete High 6 months before the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. So we got some history there. Got some history in St. Pete. Definitely the Arthur family does.
And we'll continue to promote this great group and be a part of it with the Sports Web and anything we need to do to be your voice, to make an impact on the community. That's what we're going to do here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Stan, thanks a lot for your time here on the Sports Web, my friend.
Thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure to be with you, Peter. Thanks.
Absolutely. And we'll see you throughout the season here. As we come back to Mr. Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, great stuff there by Stan. Once again, like and follow I Love St. Pete. We will definitely have your post-game edition of the Sports Web when it comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and, of course, the USF Bulls. But we'll bring it back here. I know that you want to talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because happy Creamsicle Day to you. Open phone lines if you want to get in on them. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Cheats, Roger, you're just slacking. Ha ha. Roger's definitely slacking, but I will give him some acknowledgement. Let's go out to Raina here. Hey there, Peter H. Blake. Happy Creamsicle Day and go Bucks. Let's go out to Scott here. Let's go Buccaneers. Fire those cannons. Let's go out to KR. Well, the Falcons spent a third rounder for Judon. Very good, very creative, KR. And dude is like 32 for a pass rusher. That's a risk. Oh, well.
Oh, Falcons. I love that. That's good.
The Falcons, there, of course, 28-3 by Tom Brady will always live in infamy for them. Was that bars? That was bars, I think, kids. I don't know if you knew that or not. But, yes, that was petty also, me being my petty self. Talk about Judon going from the New England Patriots to the Atlanta Falcons.
I don't like it. I mean, Raheem Morris. defensive. Well, Raheem Morris. That's enough said, right, Bucs fans? But for them to get another piece for that defense, and we're still trying to figure out, is it going to be Kirk Cousins? And oh wait, is Penix starting? No, it's going to be Kirk, obviously a starter. But the offense was where they were having a disconnect, even under Arthur Smith. And you get another piece of that defense, and I think the Falcons are the Buccaneers' biggest challenge for the fourth consecutive season of being the NFC South champions.
And of course, they will win they will wear, if I can talk, the creamsicle versus the Falcons. I believe it's I'm thinking October 27th. They are right before Halloween, and have never really had good luck with wearing that creamsicle. It kind of takes a bad rap.
It's 1 year, Pete. Last year they took a bath. Detroit came in here, but it's not so much.
They have
the body work. You're right.
Win that. The last time they won, I believe it's against Aaron Rodgers there in Josh Friedman's second year or first year. Actually, I believe he's a rookie in 2009 as they defeat the Green Bay Packers. But talk about it. You're the historian of the sports web. Talk about how much creamsicle means to you. The 70s there with Leroy and Doug Williams. I know I'm aging you out here, but that's what we do on the Evolution. Of course, James Wilder. Talk about creamsicle. Who do you think is the greatest player to ever wear creamsicle besides, of course, Leroy Selman?
God, that's tough. I'm not even going to answer the best player of all time. I'll start by saying one of the things that blows me away as we recognize now creamsicle, and we should every year forward, is the fact that sometimes, and that's one of the reasons why I don't think we here in the Sports Web have ever been remiss in the way we cover, because we understand it's not just us sports fans, the way we see it, it's generational, is the fact that for me, my first love was the red and the orange. That was my first love, seeing the helmets the first time I went to a late afternoon game, because all the games were at 1 o'clock back then. Remember, they were 1 o'clock and none of them were on TV. But seeing the colors under the lights and the way they popped, and that was the team I loved. But then we got an entire generation of dogs that we love, Bucs fans, they grew up on just the red and the pewter, but they're showing their respect on Creamsicle Day for the old throwbacks. And that's why, for me, Creamsicle Day is like, hey, the season starts in 34 days, whatever. But this is a great bonding thing for Tampa Bay Bucs fans.
And I want to go out to the phone lines here with Curtis using his second call really quick. I want to read this comment from Ozzy, the sports junkie, Sean Osborne. Before the Rays and Bulls, Andy Hardy's top sports news was Derby Lane daily double results.
and a pack of cools, right? I mean, Andy Hardy, another legend.
You had Andy Hardy and you're exactly Dick Crippen on the other side there on Channel 8. Let's go out to Curtis here. Curtis, what's on your mind?
I want to ask. Listen, I love your comment about Creamsicle Day. I love Creamsicle Day. Okay. We should have been having Creamsicle Day when after Warren Sapp them won their Super Bowl. They should have started having Creamsicle Day back then.
Wow.
Yes,
that was my opinion.
Yes.
But to change the subject real quick, Peter, do you know what the Bucs rushing total was last year as a team?
It was not good. I don't know the exact numbers, but it was lower in the NFL. Ray, you could go ahead and look that up if you can, but it was not good. And, even if it's average this year, I think this team is going to be dangerous, but I think it could be better than average with the
offense. I'm going to say this. That kid, Bucky, looked good.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
And listen, I think between him and Rashard, this team would easily rush for 1,500, 1,800 yards.
Go ahead.
It's definitely possible. I mean, I go out to you, Ray, you being a historian of this Tampa Bay sports scene and the Bucs. I mean, do you see a lot of Bucky Irving work done like traits, right?
Well, first of all, I want to recognize the fact that Curtis used his second call, and we haven't got to the wrestling. So, Curtis, you get a third call tonight because I'm impressed that you called in. I appreciate you, brother, and you're 100% correct. As far as that running game goes, that's one of the most exciting things about the Buccaneers in the season is the fact that with a running game, that they're going to have that success, even more success there on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's important at this point, and you've got to have that attitude to where you're going to run the ball, but let's face it, even if you wanted to try to run the ball, it was 2 yards in a cloud of dust because you were trying to run inside there, and that offensive line wasn't effective enough to open up those holes.
I'm up front, D. I'm listening to you.
That's all right. That's all right. You would think that would be improved with Graham Barton, the addition of that, and also
I feel like
left guard.
I feel like this offensive line since the Super Bowl getting rid of Donovan Smith. Thank God.
Yeah.
Sorry, Donovan Smith. How the hell did he go to Kansas City and win another Super Bowl? Like,
Good for him. No, because he was Jameis's backside dance partner. His best availability, his best ability.
No, listen. No, as terrible as he was.
Don't be a hater, Curtis.
Listen, I'm not being a hater. As terrible as he was in his last season in Tampa, he did not look like that at all in Kansas City.
No, he didn't.
Oh, well, no, but guys, the lights, everything was on. They weren't even on the left tackle and Mahomes' backside.
What I will tell you is this.
Yes.
Losing Ali Marpet was huge for him.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Marpet helps him out as his running mate, and of course Marpet was a Pro Bowler. So, and you're losing him at his prime of his career.
I think that first of all, let's take our hat off to God. I cannot get his name off. I love Jason Light. Jason Light can go in the Ring of Honor right now for me.
Yeah,
okay.
He's already there, right?
Yeah. He's okay. He's a Buccaneer Hall of Famer. And here's the thing: we love Bruce Arians. God, I love Todd Bowles. I really love Todd Bowles. Like, Todd Bowles is one of those guys. He's an old school coach. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't. And
there you go.
I think that this offensive line is going to be the toughest and the meanest and nastiest we've seen since that
Curtis, you're trying to make me just excited, aren't you?
Yeah,
look at you and saying everything. Yes, you're 100% correct.
Because these guys are young. They're hungry. I mean, Tristan Wirfs getting paid, that money means nothing to this. This kid wants to play freaking football. That's what he wants to do. He's 25. Think about it. He's 25 years old. He signed a 5-year contract. I mean, he's going to be 30 when he comes up for a next contract. Offensive linemen are playing 15, 20 years now in the NFL.
Yeah,
but let's put the light on the obvious, to what needs to be, the fact that Jason Light and his Buccaneers and John Spytek, everyone in this Buccaneers organization, they get the dogs, but they put the emphasis on character first, right? And that's what you see across the.
You know what? The number one thing I am so happy about being a Bucs fan is now we are actually paying our freaking players, because I used to get tired of watching our players leave because they would not pay our players.
Yep.
Well, Curtis, you talk about the Falcons just got Judon. They gave a 3rd-round pick, and he's going to cost some money. And you talked about the Buccaneers pay Jason Light, and what we do seem to do is we draft the right guys, and then we pay the right guys to stay here. Were you that move by Judon being out there? Was it just, okay, another piece might put us over the top, or were you just like, I'm good with where we're at? Didn't want to see him go in the division, though.
You know, I'm one of those guys where I'm not satisfied until I see what he does for the team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. It's like okay, I'll give you another example. Hassan Reddick.
Mm-hmm.
Great stats.
Right.
Does it not bother you that this guy has been on like 4 different teams?
Well, you have to definitely look at that, and you know what he brings to the locker room, and how he messes with your. You can't hear me?
Yeah, no, I'm listening to you.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me?
Curtis is talking to his lady.
I was talking to my boss. We're closing up, and I'm talking.
Oh, I'm sorry, Curtis. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Is it a lady? I'm just kidding.
No.
Ray, this is what you get for that.
This guy.
Okay, so you can hear me because people are complaining about.
Yeah, I saw in the chat.
Yeah, because Ray is talking. That's why. So you can't hear me. That's okay though. Yeah, I don't know where we were going with that, but Reddick, what does he bring to your locker room? How does he affect your culture? I think that's what the Bucs have to look at. Other teams have to look at, and then on top of it, you're going to have to give up capital. A 2nd or 3rd round pick, and you're also going to have to pay him, a lot of money at the end of the day, because he turned down about $25 to $28 million. So,
I mean, I personally, I wasn't too thrilled about the Randy Gregory sign. I don't care for Randy Gregory. And, he went to Nebraska. I'm a huge Nebraska fan. I don't care for Randy Gregory. I don't.
Yeah.
I just feel like he's just a guy. Yeah. He literally is just a guy. Yeah. And, every once in a while, lined up at what's up, brother?
Yeah, no, go ahead. I don't know why I pulled something. In it. Yeah.
I was just going to say, if me or you lined up at outside linebacker for 17 games, eventually we get a sack or two too.
Sure.
I mean,
Absolutely.
come on, bro. Like, nothing Randy Gregory has done to me was impressive. Because if he was, they wouldn't have let him go out of Dallas.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have let him go out of Denver. They wouldn't have.
No.
And what has he done since he went to Denver?
He's
nothing.
Nothing. He's done nothing. And look, they got him and he hasn't showed up and he's being fined, and they were expecting him to make some type of contribution when it comes to, the pass rushing room, and he hasn't been able to make it. So now you're going to depend on JTS, Chris Braswell. And
I mean, and that's another thing.
Yeah.
Listen, JTS, I'm not impressed, but I'd take him any day over Randy Gregory.
Mm-hmm.
And I think JTS, I think the problem is they put too much expectation into this guy.
Okay.
They did.
Mm-hmm.
He does have the talent. He does.
Right.
But just because you're a first-round pick doesn't mean that you're going to be a Hall of Famer. It does not mean that you're going to produce. Because how many first-round picks have we seen that don't produce? I mean, we see it every single year.
Right.
It's not always the guys at the top of the draft that are the stars. Sometimes it's the guys at the bottom of the draft. But you hit or miss. I mean, it's like Devin White, his first 2 years. I'm like, we got a star for the next 15 years.
Yeah.
And now he's not even on the team.
Yeah. Yep. You're absolutely right. Curtis, thanks a lot for the call, man. I know that you want to use one. Hopefully you guys can hear me out there. I don't know what's going on. We're trying some new stuff. Can you hear me just fine?
Yeah, I got you. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know either. All right. Appreciate it, Curtis. Call
All
back
right,
if you want to talk Turnbuckle Talk. Let's go out to Tampa Bay. Ray, welcome to the Evolution. Welcome back. I don't know what's going on. What are you doing? You sleeping over there? No, I can't hear you.
I'm reading Andrew Davis. Andrew Davis, because he says that when I talk, you got to work on your automatic adjust volume on your end, because my crappy headphones somehow, because I got a G7 laptop, take over the fact that the audio board. So I'm a little louder than you, so I will try to keep it back. But yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know what's going on. All right, let's go out to the phone lines here. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the Evolution.
Hey, Pete, it's Scott.
What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
How do you do? I just wanted to say, like I said last week, and I'll try to be calm in saying this. I think we have one of the best offensive coordinators this year of any season we've ever had.
Okay, and you're excited about, of course, that prospect of having Liam Cohen as the offensive coordinator?
Oh, yes, I love him over Dave Canales.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If Canales did good things for the team, but I love the fact that Bucky Irving is allowing us to be a triple threat as far as passing and running the ball and our defense. Don't leave out our defense.
Well, yeah.
Our defense is going to be one of the best, as well as our offense. So we are a underdog triple threat team that nobody sees coming. And one thing I'm excited about is nobody sees us coming.
Mm-hmm.
I like that over everybody thinking we're going to be the top. No, but everybody is thinking we're going to be an underdog. We're going to be defeated. But you know what? We're going all the way this year. We're going to the Super Bowl.
I love it, and Scott. I love it. I
love that Trey Palmer is a heat-seeking missile that nobody sees coming.
All right, Scott. Appreciate the call. As always, open phone line 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. So yeah, I understand where Scott's coming from. There's high expectations. Super Bowl possibly there. Maybe we'll see what they can do here, getting to the NFC Championship game, and of course winning the NFC South.
But Scott says, but Scott he beat it around. No, he hedged around the bush a little there. But he said that he likes being the underdog, and that's what the Buccaneers continue to be. As we, Todd Bowles underassumed. Baker Mayfield, he was a 30-time loser, and I think that Bucs fans all agree that going into 2024, having a little chip on their shoulder, being called an underdog or not being considered the top of the division outright is probably a good thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing at the end of the day here. So I'll tell you what, let's go out to some of these comments from our webheads as always, because we've been missing them. Let's see. Christopher Cole says Braswell would have had 4 sacks today in practice. Christopher O'Reilly, good evening, Leo. Absolutely. Thanks a lot for that, guys. I definitely will get a chance to read those comments to him. That's an interesting name. I forgot. Renfro is free agent still, but I'd rather get another pass rusher or vet corner. Once again, Jackie, thanks a lot for the stars. Travis Faley of Rocket Sports and Entertainment. Peter likes to text in third person. I don't know what it's all about. We were loaded at wide receiver. Scott, we are going to have good days and our bad days in games and practices. We just have to learn from our mistakes and weaknesses, and hopefully it happens more in preseason than regular season and the playoffs. Scott, again, I will play you on Madden 24 on PS4 anytime, Peter. Sounds good, Scott. Send your game tag name, and we'll definitely hook that up. Barton was awesome. Absolutely. Bucky was also good. Scott, again, I personally like Liam over Dave. Claire, thanks, Leo. Claire, thanks a lot for Stan, thank you very much for tuning in.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he did. That's why I'm here. Scott, thanks, Stan, for what you do. Absolutely what Stan does. And we'll get out to that message in just a little bit here. A Barber, Sap, few others were my favorite players growing up. Very cool, Scott. Christopher Cole, Payne Durham went out with an injury today. X-rays and MRI is negative. He is day to day, so that's a good thing. Of course, a big-time injury around the NFL for Minnesota Vikings first-round pick, national champion Michigan quarterback J.J. McCarthy is out for the year, as my mom is watching, so I know she's a big-time Michigan fan. So disappointing for the Minnesota Vikings. How does that change? What do you think about that injury overall? You got Sam Darnold there, possibly the starter, but you're thinking, you're bringing in a rookie quarterback and a McCarthy. Disappointing already that you have to look forward to 2025 if you're a Vikings fan.
Well, even as a Michigan fan, there were some people around the NFL who were like, JJ could use a year to, matriculate, as our guy would have said. But no, I mean, the fact of the matter is, I go back 2 years ago, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield. Sam Darnold had been in that Carolina offense for a year and a half. Kind of felt like he was the guy ready for it. Baker gets traded late he has 5 weeks to learn a playbook, even though we know it took him 2 hours to learn it and win in LA against the Raiders. But the fact of the matter is that these are two good quarterbacks, and I kind of want to see what Sam Darnold has. Not in New York, where so many things are put on his shoulders, and the poor kid from USC. I want to see what he has a chance to do there in Minnesota with Kevin O'Connell's offense. I mean, that's a good offense. They can make a 83-year-old like Kirk Cousins look good.
You're exactly right, and you got Jefferson there, and the Atlanta Falcons. It looked like they improved with that trade for Judon, so we'll see how that turns out. Let's go out to Scott. Oh, come on. I love the creamsicle. Even though I was born in the 80s, still do. I prefer it over the new version. Just saying, I love the old version. I love the old version, but I absolutely love the new version.
Come on, Peter. The thing about these colors right here is that for so long he's a winking pirate. It's so passive. Well, Tampa Bay's kind of passive. That's what we are. But the fact of the matter is, the moment we signed Hardy Nickerson, who played 6.
We are not passive here, Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy. We are not passive.
We were back in the day, but it was because Hugh Overhouse was stealing all the money. He only gave Phil Kruger like $17 to try to, okay.
To get William Purcell in Plan B. I remember. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for the terrible memories there.
Oh, it sucks.
Into that scab that was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back there in the 80s and the 90s. Early, I can hear everyone but Peter. Okay, so hopefully we corrected that. I don't know. Again, trying some new things tonight. I hope that my sound matches up. You don't see a Chinese movie. That's what was being told to me. I might have to go back to the old way. I don't know what to tell you guys. Hopefully it all matches up. You can't hear. Okay. Carl can't hear me. I can hear you very well. Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Carl, everyone else.
They're messing with you.
Carl, it may be your TV or your internet or something like that. We love you though, bro. Watching the best sports talk show in the Tampa Bay area, the Sports Web with Amped Up Sports. Creamsicle in the 70s and 80s was the best. Doug Williams, Ricky Bell, Leroy Selman. That team was great. Of course, my mother right there. I mean, I feel like she could tell me stories all the time, and she's the reason why I'm really a Bucs fan, not just because of my dad, because I always give my dad credit. He sits me down when I'm 8 years old. But she also tells me, when I came out, when I was born, I was born on a Tuesday night because I was coming on Monday.
October 3rd. We know this. We know this.
Right. You don't forget this.
See, now I know it because you beat it into my head.
You're really loud with that right now. So you better. That's okay. That's all right. We gotta fix you up here, Tampa Bay Ray, with your setup. You got to get my setup again. We got to get your mic going and your mixer and everything like that. But again, I appreciate the time. But Mom used to tell me stories all the time that I was watching games before I was 8 years old. She tell me all kinds of great stories. And I actually, picked up books, this Amazing Kids. You have a book on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and all their losing seasons. But what you come to find out is, even though the first 2 years they were losers, they had that special year there in 77, 78, and then 79. 79 getting over the top there, getting to the NFC Championship game. And his mom always likes to say, losing in the creamsicle with Doug Williams and Leroy Selman going out of the NFC Championship game versus the hated LA Rams, who are still hated to this day by every Bucs fan, because the Rams, they always dig it into us. They always dig it into us. How many playoff losses have you had to the Rams over the years, whether it's in LA, St. Louis, or back to LA? JTS was the best graded outside linebacker in coverage. So we're wrapping it up here. We got 2 minutes until turnbuckle talk. Tampa Bay Ray, give me your final thoughts here on the evolution on a creamsicle night.
Going into today, it felt like Creamsicle Day. It was like, okay, it's just another way to fill the calendar. And then I probably should have realized with the fact that the Rays have seemed to exit stage left, that in Tampa Bay, this is exactly what we needed. But not only is it exactly what we needed, it's also a great thing that, for so many years, people were like, these colors, this winking pirate, this is the worst. And they were the worst team in football. But anymore, we can celebrate our past, because it always wraps back to what I always say. It's not just about the destination. It's the journey, and let's enjoy that. Let's get ready for. I'm glad you mentioned the Bulls, because we're going to have you covered with the Bulls and the Buccaneers post game right here in the Sports Web. Thanks for having me tonight, brother.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you very much for coming on the evolution of Sports Talk Television, as always, and we'll see you soon.
The sound got better, though, right?
Right, there you go. The sound did get better. I told you about the sound. You got to make it.
Turn it down.
You got to turn it down just a little bit. That's all right. We don't turn it down here. We turn up. We'll be turning it up here on Saturday night when the Bucs face the Jaguars on a post-game edition of the Evolution. Thanks a lot for your time, and we'll see you soon here on the Evolution, all right?
Take care, brother.
All right, I tell you what, let's go ahead and take a break and hear from Mr. Stan Author of I Love St. Pete on this great organization, stpeteorg.com, on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television.
Times are tough. And over the last couple of years, donations have dwindled significantly, while our group membership has grown and grown. For the price of a McDonald's meal deal, just $5 and some change, you will be helping to make a huge difference in someone's life. Please remember that in most cases, there are very small children involved. So go to helpstpete.org, click donate on the homepage, then enter an amount that you can easily afford. I suggest $5. Click on the box that will add a little bit more to cover the PayPal fee. Then click the box that will make it a recurring monthly donation. You can donate through PayPal that way, or even with your own debit card. Every gift you make is tax deductible.
All right, so there you go. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get out to this guy right here for Turnbuckle Talk. Mr. Ralph Williams, welcome to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend. How are you doing on this happy hump day edition?
I'm doing good. Doug Williams, I remember those days, and Vinny Testaverde in the creamsicle outfits, and so I remember those days. So
Well, you definitely remember those days. I think a lot of people in the Tampa Bay area remember the 70s there, the late 70s, of course, not necessarily those first 2 years, of course, but the 79 NFC Championship game and their playoff appearances. and what they were able to accomplish. In fact, at the time, a lot of people don't know this, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were the fastest team in expansion history to make it to the playoffs. They were the fastest team besides, of course, the Carolina Panthers, who eventually took that record. I think it was 1 year. It was a couple years later. So with that being said, let's get on to turnbuckle talk here. You had Raw a couple nights ago. You also had SmackDown. So give me your general thoughts of both of those shows here, of course, after SummerSlam.
Well, SmackDown, and then I enjoyed Raw was okay. I said this last night on our Wrestle Talk segment with me and Smoke and Jim Frazier on Sports Corner. Raw, Raw's losing its luster a little bit. It don't have the matches that SmackDown has. And I guess it's because SmackDown was on Fox, but not in September. It's going to USA Network. So we're going to find out where creative goes with this, with the WWE, with both of these. And Raw's supposed to be going to Netflix sometime soon, I think, or next year or something. So it's going to be interesting to see the shuffle of the shows and find out where it goes. But I thought Raw was okay. I like the fact CM Punk lied and then shows up and then goes after. Tries to go after Drew McIntyre. The new Judgment Day, and now they created the match for the Bash in Berlin, where it's Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley versus Dummy Dom, I call him, just like Pat McAfee, Dummy Dom and Liv Morgan. It's going to be an interesting match.
Yeah, no, absolutely, you're correct about that. And of course, you got the Terra Twins with Rhea Ripley and, of course, Dominic Mysterio finally confronting once again and building that up. Of course, it's going to be Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley, and you're going to have Dominic versus Damian Priest. Looking forward to seeing that and how that all plays out. So do you think that they're doing this right with this whole storyline? With long-term booking, everything like that? Are they doing a good enough job when it comes to the storytelling of once again this angle?
Yeah, I believe so. The WWE is very good, as we talked about weeks ago, for many weeks now, about how good at storytelling they are as compared to AEW. And I think that they're doing a really good job right now under Triple H's leadership. And then you have Shawn Michaels and NXT is doing a really good job there. They have some great ideas. They have some different things that they're doing, and I think that's making the WWE better. I like this bloodline thing going on right now. I sent you some stuff today where some of these rumors floating around of different bloodlines and all kinds of different stuff going on here.
Yep, you're absolutely correct about that. And one thing that's going around right now, according to Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer Radio, they're going to have Roman Reigns to face Jacob Fatu. Meltzer noted that WWE is having Fatu completely avoid Reigns and doesn't want him to bump the original tribal chief, unlike the other bloodline members in Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and of course Tonga Loa. At SummerSlam, Reigns appeared for the first time since dropping the WWE Championship to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40, and of course turned on Solo. So Jacob Fatu, which I believe Fatu is more over at this point, and a guy to me that just gets it. He has the look. He just seems like he's got the energy to be a guy that you could definitely be a heel for this bloodline and make something watchable on WWE programming.
Oh, absolutely. He was great in MLW. He was in ROH for a little while too, and I think he spread around Japan and some other places. But remember what Cody Rhodes said a few weeks back, that him and Tonga Loa or Tama Tonga, they've had matches in the past when he was in New Japan, when they were in New Japan wrestling together. So Cody Rhodes even said about how great some of these guys are. Jacob Fatu and Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga. They're no joke. I mean, you might think because you've never seen them other than in the WWE that they're a joke. They're no joke here. They've been around. It's just that they just haven't. This is finally their time in the WWE.
Do you have interest in this storyline? I mean, are you interested? Are you interested to see what they do down the road here?
Yes, absolutely. I want to see what this bloodline's going to look like, because don't forget, Survivor Series is coming up in a few months, and I'm thinking there's going to be some kind of a civil war. But if you look at that report that I sent you today, we're talking about Paul Heyman now forming a bloodline, and now Brock Lesnar can come back now because he's no longer involved in anything with Vince McMahon and that court stuff. So now, if Brock Lesnar comes back and he puts together CM Punk, like that report says, and brings The Rock with him, I just don't see The Rock. I see The Rock either being on one of the Civil War teams, but I don't see it, because there's going to be a Civil War, Peter, regardless. At Survivor Series, that's going to be the main match, and it's going to be War Games fashion. But the question is, who's all going to be on each other's teams? That's going to be the biggest question right now. You could sit there and speculate, but we don't know.
Yeah, you definitely don't know. And we're on with Turnbuckle Talk here. If you guys want to talk about professional wrestling, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. You're exactly right. I don't think it's going to be Brock Lesnar. I saw that report. I think it's erroneous. I think somebody's trying to come up with something. I don't think they're ever going to do any business with Brock Lesnar. It's bad PR, whether it's or not. But
TKO, Peter, wants to get rid of part-time wrestlers, and Brock Lesnar's a part-time wrestler. You see, they finally Logan Paul's gone. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. And now that Logan Paul's involved in a lawsuit, I don't even know if he's even going to be able to come back to the WWE, because they got a strict policy. If you're involved in any kind of court proceeding, you can't be part of the WWE. So, we're going to find out there. He's involved in some kind of court proceeding over that drink he has.
Yeah, I absolutely think that they're going to somehow, some way involve him, because he is one of their top wrestlers. Whether he's a part-timer or not, he's definitely a talented one. Now, also speaking on Tuesday's Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer reported that WWE's original intention was for Rhodes at WrestleMania. He said once they decided to go with Reigns and The Rock in the main event of WrestleMania, WWE was going to run an injury angle with Rhodes as an explanation for why he would not compete at WrestleMania. The Rock then would have stepped up to take his place against Reigns, making The Rock a clear babyface in that scenario. Meltzer noted that WWE went away from the plan when CM Punk got injured during the Royal Rumble match due to his idea that it could pivot and have Rhodes challenge Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. Of course, in the end, the WWE settled on Rhodes versus Reigns, either by long-term design or as a reaction to the fans making clear they wanted Rhodes over The Rock as Reigns' opponent. Of course, a 1,300-day run ended with Reigns. That was the right choice. I cannot fathom. Listen, I understand they wanted to go with the Roman Reigns versus The Rock. I can't imagine going in that direction for WrestleMania 40 and not having Cody Rhodes where you win the Royal Rumble. I understand that, Rollins and Punk, they got this, rivalry going on and winning the World Heavyweight, but it wouldn't have meant anything. It meant more to have Cody Rhodes wrestle Roman Reigns. What do you say?
Oh, absolutely. I think that to be the case, because I didn't expect, and I was one of the people who said that I didn't think that there was going to be a match between Rock and Roman Reigns. I thought they were going to work together, which they did. They had the tag team match for night one, and then night two, they all participated in the Bloodline Rules match with Roman and and Cody Rhodes. So, but we're going to see where this final boss thing goes with The Rock. Like I said, the Civil War is coming for the Survivor Series. That has to be something, because we got to find out about the bloodline here. What's Paul Heyman going to do? Is he going to stay? Is he going to be with Roman Reigns? Is he going to screw him over again? Who's going to be the teams? I don't think Jey Uso and Sami Zayn are even going to get involved in this, because I think they have other options for themselves. They want to go after the tag team belts. So, I don't see them. They want to go after Judgment Day, so I don't see them being involved in this match. So I don't know where Roman Reigns is going to get his team.
I think they would be a mistake if they don't go with the Usos. You join up there. Sami
Yeah.
Zayn right now losing to Braun Breaker. That may help him out, put him over. That would make lots of sense. I want to go out to Scott. We learn from our past to make better future. Thanks, Ray and Pete. Have a great night. Thank you, Scott.
Oh, yeah.
And let me go out to Scott again. Bring Rikishi back as the manager of the Bloodline.
Yes.
Paul Heyman, but it would be more powerful to bring Rikishi as a manager of either the original Bloodline or the new Bloodline. Either way, and I still think Paul's going to come back. Paul's the guy. Would Rikishi be involved in this storyline somehow? Maybe on the side. I don't know. I mean,
and The Rock. I mean, you have The Rock out here too. He's another part of the puzzle of this Bloodline feud, and we can't sell The Rock out either. And I hear there's at least 2 more cousins that are out there wrestling somewhere that Roman Reigns plans on bringing in. He's got if Jay and Jimmy plan to participate and they bring in Sami Zayn to help out, that could happen. But again, I just for some strange reason don't see Jay and Sami getting involved. I think Jimmy will help out Roman Reigns. I'm hearing there's going to be a tag team match coming up real soon, where it's at one of these pay-per-views, and it could be at the Bash of Berlin, Roman and Jimmy Uso versus. I saw something where it said that there's a possible angle of of Roman and Jimmy versus Soa and Tama Tonga, in a tag team match.
Certainly possible. I will make you a bet that the Usos are definitely involved, and maybe even Sami Zayn. I definitely think they would miss out on an opportunity with the Usos. That place, Jay's already over. Jimmy's making his own way, but joining up with the Usos with that Civil War, that would be a missed opportunity. I don't see Triple H and the administration, the writing team missing out on that. Let me go out to Christopher Cole here. Rhea and Damian are together against the new Judgment Day. Absolutely, they are. What do we think about the new Judgment Day? Is that getting over at this point? Is it going to get over, in your opinion? With, of course, Dominic and Liv and Finn Balor and what do you think about it, JD?
I think it's what they say, run its course.
Yeah,
that's what I think. I think it's run its course. JD McDonough's a bum. Finn Balor, he needs to, he's not really that relevant anymore. And then you got Carlito trying to make a comeback here, and he don't fit in. And then you have Liv Morgan and Dom now, and they're going to continue with this dirty Dom thing, because I heard some stories that his dad's contract is due to run out, I think, next year after WrestleMania. There was going to be a match between the two of them, he was going to go back to being a baby face, and his dad they were going to wrestle again or something. I don't know. There's been all kinds of speculation about dirty or dummy Dom all over the place here. But I just don't like this new one. It's not right. Damian and Rhea kind of made that a little bit, and of course you got that bum JD McDonough and Carlito. He just don't fit in.
It's a whole convoluted mess, in my opinion. So we'll definitely see if it works out. I understand what they're trying to do, but you don't have Damian Priest there. Of course, you don't have Edge. I don't think it gets over, but we'll see. In our interview this week, John Cena talked to comicbooks.com. Liam Crowley insisted that once he retires, he will be done with wrestling from the in-ring standpoint for good. Without further ado, though, I tell you what, let's go out to the phone lines. What's your name? Where you calling from? You're on the Evolution on Turnbuckle Talk.
Peter, what do you do? Jeremy, how you doing, brother?
What's going on, Jeremy? What's on your mind tonight, man?
I wanted to get to the Wyatt Six.
Okay.
What's the plan for them? Like, what is WWE planning for them? I know they had the big tag team match a couple of weeks ago. Are we ever going to see Bo Dallas in the ring, one-on-one with Shorty G? That's what I call him. He ain't very but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right. Are we ever going to see Bo Dallas in the ring? What's the hold up? I'm glad that they're putting him in, they're slowly working them in. But I think it's time to put Bo Dallas in the ring. I think he's ready. What do you think, Ralph?
That's what I believe, Jeremy. I think that, I agree with you 100%. I think it's time for the Wyatt Six to start doing something, getting involved in some matches. Maybe start something with, They already started something with Chad Gable and all them. Maybe they need to start something with the Judgment Day. I'd like to see something like that, or maybe even have them go up against the Bloodline. I'd like to see some faction versus faction kind of thing like this. That would be nice, but we'll see where they go with this. And I hope Triple H don't drop the ball this time and keep them in the wind and not even wrestling. If they wrestle, I'd like to see Nikki Cross start wrestling again. I mean, it's all they're doing is talking and running around and chasing down Chad Gable and the Creed brothers, and I want to see them wrestle. I want to see them get involved in some matches and maybe go after one of the factions.
Well, and I think they built this up, right, guys? Because
Yeah.
it's in a long-term storytelling, long-term booking. They've done it the correct way. I agree with you, Jeremy. I'd like to see Uncle Howdy in the ring, of course.
Yes.
Bo Dallas go after Chad Gable. I think they're saving that for some pay-per-views down the road. They don't want to give it away. Let me ask you, Jeremy. You're a big-time wrestling fan. Has the Wyatt Six done this right? Has Triple H done this right? Have they gotten over with you, or do they still have work to do, in your opinion?
To me, I feel like there's still some work to be done.
Okay.
I'm not trying to pick on them. I mean, I think Triple H, he's a very smart businessman, and I know he's got a lot on his plate. I'm very confident he's going to get it going for them. I just feel like at the end of the day, the leader, Bo Dallas, aka Uncle Howdy, should be the guy to go ahead and go one-on-one in the ring. Because one, we all know, at least from my opinion, Bo Dallas is a very underrated wrestler. He got dealt a very bad hand in WWE when he got bumped up from NXT.
Yeah.
I just want to see more of Uncle Howdy in there leading the way with these other upcoming wrestlers, that I think are talented. And Nikki Cross, we all know. I like the psychotic, Nikki Cross, won that superhero crap that whatever they.
Oh, that was terrible.
It was terrible. It was terrible.
It was horrible. Straight disrespect. But I do want to say one more thing, because I know you guys are talking. That's the bloodline. Because I hear you guys talking about the bloodline. I want to see The Rock come back. I'm tired of Solo Sikoa. He's a boring wrestler to me. I understand they're trying to bump him up and stuff. But to me, Jacob Fatu is that guy.
Yes.
Yes, we have said that. Yes, you're exactly right, Jeremy.
He's the guy. Yes. He should be the tribal chief of the 2.0, the Bloodline 2.0. No disrespect to Solo Sikoa. No disrespect. I understand he put his time in. He's doing what he's done. I just can't take him seriously.
No.
To me, he's just some bodyguard, and NXT is going to protect you.
He's a ham and egger. That's all he is. He's a ham and egger. So I mean, that's the bottom line with him.
I think he's.
He's nothing like Jay and Jimmy. Right. He's nothing like Jay and Jimmy. No disrespect to his brothers. He's nothing like his brothers. I mean, I understand they're trying to push him, but Jacob Fatu should be the guy to be leading the way. I love his. I mean, we all seen it. The guy can fly. He can do everything.
Yes.
But
he mastered his craft in the independent circuit, and then he was in MLW and in Japan. So Jacob Fatu has mastered his craft to get himself to the WWE. He was once in NXT years ago, and then he left to come back and reinvent himself, and now they're doing it.
Yeah,
and that's part of the business. They come and go. I mean,
yes.
Cody left, came back, and look where he's at now.
You're right.
I will say one more thing about The Rock, because Peter knows how much of a Rock fan I am.
Yep.
I'm thinking he's going to come back. He's going to have to step in to help out, Solo Sikoa with his leadership. And that's how they're going to create the big match with Roman versus Rock at WrestleMania. Whether whoever has a strap or not, it doesn't matter. They don't even need a strap. Let them go one-on-one and event one night. You know what I mean? To really name the real head of the table, the real tribal chief. That's where I think the story is going to end with the bloodline. So hopefully, like you mentioned about Triple H, hopefully he's cooking up something really, really good to have The Rock come in to step in for Solo, because Solo can't lead, obviously. And he comes in, Solo's like, okay, fine, I can't do it, and then go get The Rock, get the real guy in here, and then boom, that's where we'll see Raw versus Roman, whether it's Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, however he plans it. So hopefully that's the way I'm predicting. I'm speculating, but hopefully that's what's going to happen.
Well, that's what we do here. Of course, War Games is coming up, so that definitely would be the opportunity to have The Rock come back, the final boss. And listen, I believe it's going to happen. He's a heel at this point. It sets up the eventual match between him and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 41. I think that's what's going to be done. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Cody at this point. It most likely will be Cody versus Seth or Cody versus CM Punk. And
Randy.
Well, it could be that too. Take my money at the end of the day. It may be Randy versus John Cena. Who knows what WWE is going to do, but you have so many possibilities of what you can do here the next couple months. Anything else here, Jeremy, on the Evolution?
I mean, shout out to for what Ralph mentioned on SmackDown. I think they're crushing it compared to Raw. I feel like no disrespect to Raw.
Thank you.
I do tune in to both shows because I do work at my job and try to catch a little bit of the shows. But shout out to SmackDown. I think they're the entertaining team. When they go to USA and they get 3 hours, I believe, when they go to USA. They get 2. So it'll be really interesting what Triple H cooks up, on SmackDown between the bloodline, some of the talent they got over there. So I can't wait to see that. And plus, in Berlin, can't wait. Another afternoon pay-per-view, not a late event, and get to watch some entertainment, hopefully.
Yeah, get to watch some entertaining wrestling. And, of course, the Raw is about to go over
to Netflix.
To Netflix in January. So that'll be interesting to see what kind of show that turns out to be. Jeremy, thanks a lot for the call. Use that second call if you want to here on Turnbuckle Talk. All right, my friend?
Take care, fellas.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you.
Up there by Jeremy. On the phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255.
Hey, Peter, I wanted to add a couple things here. First of all, I do agree with the fact, but here's SmackDown leaving Fox is really a good thing because for the WWE, because I'll tell you why. They now have full creative control over SmackDown. Remember, when they signed that contract with Fox, the biggest problem was Fox wanted to stick their nose in this and be part of creative for some of the stuff that was going on there. So now WWE, by moving it to USA, they take full control now of the creative.
That's it. It's a good point. Let's see.
Oh, and by the way, too, everybody, Reggie or Reginald or whatever he was has signed a contract with ROH.
Well, there you go. ROH is. I don't know why that signing is important, but okay. I finally figured out it was the White 6, not 6. You're correct. Very good. And Scott says, what happened to bringing back the Attitude Era Raw as War? It was alluded to before WrestleMania that they were going to those type of days, but it has not happened. Do you think they're waiting for Netflix to answer?
Yes.
And yes, one word.
Yes.
Yes, I think they're waiting for Netflix. I also think that there's only so much you can do with having sponsors and stuff like that. I don't know if it's ever, Scott, going to be like the Attitude Era, to me, like the Golden Age of wrestling, but I think it's going to be pretty close there. Pure Cinema, as I was talking to Titus O'Neil about this, and I'll get some clips of that, where he was talking about the final boss, Rock, taking out Cody Rhodes and beating the hell out of him outside by, his truck and just by the bus, excuse me. It was pure cinema. That's what you want to see. You want to see more of that. The ratings are good still, but they're going to be even better, I believe, with Netflix because of what Scott just mentioned.
I will say this, Peter. Okay, I will say this. If it becomes a war again, I think they're going to wipe out AEW. It's not even going to be close. At least WCW gave them some kind of a battle. When you have a war between two companies like this, and if this becomes a war again, where Raw's war, I think they're going to wipe out AEW. I believe that.
Well, and I'm just waiting the other day for the Monday Night War video game there with WCW and WWE. You guys need to get on that. Triple H needs to get on that. Bring back all those wrestlers. Some of those guys are dead, but I know they have all the rights to the theme music. They need to make that happen. Who doesn't want to see, of course, the Monday Night War? Now, we had a passing. Kevin Sullivan, the Taskmaster, 74 years old. I know you're a big-time wrestling fan. Give me your thoughts of Kevin Sullivan passing away.
Well, it's really sad, but Kevin Sullivan, his career was being the booker for WCW. He booked all those matches. and he was a good wrestler. I watched him in the early '90s in the WWE, trying to go up against Hulk Hogan and whatnot. But when his best time of his career was when he was the booker in the '90s with WCW, and some of those great matches that he booked, I think is what made his career. And the sad part about it was it's sad that his sister, who was married to Chris Benoit, had to pass because of Chris Benoit. So.
Well, yeah, he was married to a woman who, of course, was murdered by Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing.
Oh, that was his ex-wife or something, wasn't it?
Was his ex-wife?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was his sister. I'm sorry, I got it mixed up.
And yeah, they were husband and wife, and he was the booker at the time. And it was odd because he did make that storyline with Chris Benoit and woman, Nancy, and they got close, and they actually had the extramarital affair.
Yeah.
Right, woman got with Chris Benoit, and the rest is history. So, yeah, be careful what you wish for, but he was a booker. He was a talented wrestler. He's been around for the 70s and 80s, especially
yes,
in Florida wrestling. So a legend passes away at 74 years old, and Kevin Sullivan. Now let's get out to John Cena. These comments. There isn't a check writer with enough money to change my mind when I hang it up in December. I don't want to continue for ego or financial gain. I built a relationship of trust and authenticity over the years with the WWE, and that's what people who think I suck and people who believe in me. They know that I shoot them straight and I'm trustworthy, and I mean what I say when I'm done in December. I am done. It is the last time I will perform in the ring, and of course, this is December of 2025 when I step away. Again, Cena's poised to have a memorable retirement tour in 2025 as he will wrestle throughout the year and intends to appear in regular WWE programming. All signs point to him being a key part of major events such as WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam that year, and the possibility exists that he could potentially become a 17-time world champion and break his tie with Ric Flair for the all-time record. Do you take him at his word? Because we always hear about wrestlers walking away too soon or being at the dance too long. I think Ric Flair is definitely guilty of that. But they always get that itch. We always have, wrestlers are walking away, retiring, and then all of a sudden they show up when they get the money. Do you take Cena out of his word that he's officially done in December of 2025?
Well, that's hard to say, Peter. But as much as we follow John Cena, usually when he says something, he usually does it. So I would think he's probably, this is his last retirement match. Look, Ric Flair, like you said, Ricky Steamboat, and some of these other people keep coming back and doing. Hey, you never know. You might even see the Undertaker in a match again. Mm-hmm. So I mean, that kind of thing. So I mean, and it's just, you always have that itch. That's like, I have an itch to get back on the microphone on the radio. That's my itch. Wow. You know what I mean? So everybody has an itch for something that they want to do, and wrestling and broadcasting for me is the biggest thing for me. And for them, it's wrestling, and they'll never lose it. That's like when you're a DJ for 50 years at some radio station, you still go to another radio station, or you put on a podcast, you do something, you never lose that itch. No. Football players are the same way. They have to get involved somehow, even after they retire, whether it's broadcasting or coaching high school or doing something in their alma mater in college or whatever. You always have that itch. Look at Bill Cowher. I mean, even though he's not a head coach anymore, he still has that itch to talk about football. And look at now, he's an analyst on CBS. So you see, they all do that.
Yeah, they all do that, and you never lose that. You never lose that vibe. But I do take him at his word on this. I think he's done. I think he wants to go into Hollywood and movies and stuff like that and do other things. And why not? Because wrestlers are retiring earlier and earlier because of head injuries and because the toll of those
football players are doing it, Peter. They're 6-8 years.
Yep.
Marcus Golden signed a new contract with the Steelers. The next day, he retired. So I mean, I think he's only like 33 years old or something. So I mean, there's guys retiring early. Listen, I was Mike Webster's personal cab driver. I saw what he looked like. Okay, and I don't ever want to see players looking like that. We'll get off topic here. I'm sorry, but I don't ever, and wrestlers are the same way. You should see some of these guys. Look at Lex Luger. Look at some of these other guys that are walking around with canes, walkers, in wheelchairs, that kind of thing. So, some of these guys don't want to be like that. And I don't blame them. I wouldn't either.
We just talked about Sullivan, at 74 years old, having some complications and passing away. I mean, Scott Hall, we talked about him dying relatively young. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alcohol did him in. I mean, he had cirrhosis of the liver, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Alcohol did him in. But I got to give kudos to Diamond Dallas Page for rehabbing some of these wrestlers. Jake the Snake's still living. So, I mean, so it's great to see Orrin Anderson back in the fold with WWE and Cody Rhodes, too.
It is. All right. Speaking on the recent edition of Click This, Kevin Nash revealed that he was backstage at WWE SummerSlam earlier this month, along with a few other performers. The retired wrestler had an opportunity to speak with LA Knight ahead of his match against Logan Paul. Yeah, he didn't say that. I said that. He says, I said, so you're finally getting to effing go over tonight. And he goes, something like that. And then we talked, and because he was working with Logan Paul, I just asked him how it was to work with Paul. And, is he natural? Is he a paint by numbers? Nash confirmed that Knight offered his opinion on wrestling, the social media influencer. However, he didn't feel like it was his place to share Knight's opinions on Paul publicly. Of course, it goes back to the previous statements as Nash has made about Knight, the WWE Hall of Famer being Nash. Slated that he believes that, Knight is doing some type of impression of The Rock and Stone Cold and kind of ripping their characters off. He had this to also finish up. He says, nobody is effing trying to hurt anybody in this business. I wasn't trying to take food off his table. I want that company to effing excel. Kevin Nash, his comments on LA Knight kind of walked it back a little bit.
Yeah.
His character, he's been there. He's been out in the media. He's doing a podcast. Of course, he's got to, sell clicks. Is he right about LA Knight stealing, gimmicks from The Rock and Stone Cold? And do you take him at his word that there is no ill will between him and LA Knight going forward?
I don't know if I take his word on that. Kevin Nash has been known to change his mind on some things over the years. But anyway, hey, imitation is just a serious form of flattery. I mean, people imitate everybody all the time. I sit here all night with my wife and imitate people. I mean, I do Trump. I do Mark Mancini. I do some good imitations.
Give me a Mark Mancini impression because we haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah. You make a very good point there, Peter. And, I'm going to roll out the red carpet and I'm going to pass the microphone over. And you're a mentor and a friend. And, Peter, how are you tonight? And how are you doing? And, yeah. So.
It's pretty good. Hopefully Mark sees this. You got to come back soon, man. I know you're doing things there with, I believe is he working with the Angels or the Dodgers? I think he's
working with the Dodgers, and I think he's doing some stuff with the Padres too. He was telling me about or something. Yeah, he's really. Hey, you know what? He's a busy guy. That's all that counts. When you're a busy man. Hey, look at me. I'm in a wheelchair and I'm a busy guy. You know what I mean?
You're doing great, my friend. All right. Also,
thank you.
I had this to say. I did a couple hours of documentary work on Friday night. No, you don't get flown in and get to just watch from the suite. You're up there doing work for 23 different A&E things that are in the mix. I'm glad that they called me. I was more than happy to go. I had a great time with the production crew. We went over my entire career. I got to talk about my career. They were taping it. I guess mine was severely different than everybody else's. He said on how it was different that I don't give an F. He said the F a lot of times here on his podcast. We were talking about my career. It came across more like stand-up than it did actual stories. He said, also, I'm not playing a character like he did in Who Killed WCW. No way. Way more me. I was playing a character on the WCW thing. This is me. This is just me. Kevin Nash, what do you think of his career? Because I think he did a lot.
He did. Yes.
Mike, I think he always gets lumped into being the booker like Kevin Sullivan,
right?
CW, which at the time was the Titanic. I don't think that's necessarily fair, but as far as important wrestlers and their legacy and the history of the business, he changed it with Hogan and Hall with the NWO along with
NWO. I think the biggest part of his career was the NWO. You know, the NWO made a lot of people's careers. I mean, it really did. It made a lot of wrestlers' careers. The NWO did, and with Hulk Hogan and Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, even X-Pac. I mean, you know, and people like that really, you know, did a lot to make some careers of some folks. Because the reason I say this is because remember the NWO had a lot of great people. They had Ted DiBiase, Macho Man Randy Savage. At one point, they even had Dusty Rhodes. So I mean, you know, and Rick, and then they had, you know, some other guys. So it was a lot of guys. And then WCW had a lot of factions. The Filthy Animals. They had the NWO. They had you know, the NWO Wolfpack. They had, you know, the Four Horsemen. It was WCW. I think was the kings of factions at one point.
I think they are the king faction. Yeah. If it's not for them, it's also the Four Horsemen, of course.
The Four Horsemen, yes, absolutely. Yep. You know, I remember watching the Four Horsemen when it was WCW and Gordon Soley was on. That's how far back I go with. I've been following wrestling since I was 5 years old. Awesome. I watched superstar Billy Graham fight Ivan Putski in a cage match at the Pittsburgh Civic Arena. Then I watched Bob Backlund. I seen a lot of Superfly Jimmy Snuka, Andre the Giant. I'll tell you another good match I saw was Bruno Sammartino versus Haystacks Calhoun. He picked him up and he body slammed him over the top rope. They had to wait till the event was over, bring in a crane to get Haystacks Calhoun off the floor.
Good stuff, man. Good history there. Let's go out to Scott. Mongoose is also a good reason to retire early. I really don't like it when people say wrestling is fake. The bumps are not fake. They put a lot of work into their careers, craft, and put their body on the line for the fans. Great comment by Scott. As always.
Hey, remember what Dr. D. David Schultz did on 2020? He said, "Does this look like it's fake?" And he punched that guy right in the mouth. I was like, "Yeah, go get him." You know,
he slapped him.
At
20.
He said, "Yeah." He says, "Does this look like it's fake?" And then he became a bounty hunter and got killed. That's sad.
Yeah, that is sad. All right, let's go out to AEW here. Tony Khan had this to say, teasing once again most important announcements in AEW coming up. He says it's a very exciting time in AEW for many reasons. We're days away from AEW All In on August 25th. This is the most important and exciting time in AEW history. In addition to what's happening in the ring, there are so many exciting things happening behind the scenes at AEW right now. We're on the verge of the most important announcements in the history of AEW. There are multiple aspects. The arrival of these announcements is imminent. We'll have big news that comes out at any time. It isn't that the best kind of wrestling surprise when you know something is coming and you want it and it's exciting, but you're not sure when it's going to happen? You have that feeling it's going to happen. In this case, I have more than a feeling, to paraphrase Boston. I have been working on this for a long time. We have a great team here. The future of AEW is very bright. What do we make of this? Because we've been teased about, you know, the Discovery deal here with you know, their new TV deal. We've also been teased about Shane McMahon meeting Tony Khan in the back. I mean, could this be what he's talking about? Could Shane McMahon be joining AEW? Or is this more about the TV deal, in your opinion? What have you heard?
Probably about the TV deal. You know, who knows about Shane McMahon, what he's going to do. The thing is, though, AEW, you know, as I said before, they is owned by a guy like Tony Khan, who just loves wrestling but knows nothing about it. You know, and now they got some stuff that's kind of getting old there. The Young Bucks being the heels and all that. When is Kenny Omega coming back? I know he's been hurt for a while. You know, he added something to the fray. You know, they bring in all these New Japan wrestlers and ROH moving belts around there too. You know, Tony Khan has to separate ROH from AEW and get ROH some kind of a TV deal and let them run on their own. Scott D'Amore is no longer in the fray to run it. He's starting his own company up in Canada. So, you know, so I don't know what Tony Khan's going to do from here. Probably the TV deal's what he was talking about, because I don't see anything in the horizon for him. And in fact, there was a rumor out there this week that John Moxley had a meeting with Triple H.
Wow. All right.
Because he was very dissatisfied with Tony Khan and the creativity with him. So, I mean,
that happened.
All right, Peter, your pick: Bryan Danielson or Swerve Strickland?
Yeah, and they're going to be wrestling. Wow, for me, I know Danielson may be retiring soon. I think you got to put Swerve over on him. I really do. Yeah. I mean, if you wanted this to be legitimate, you got to put Swerve. But I heard it could be Adam Page versus Swerve here with their wrestling match. So I would go with Swerve at this point. If he's your young superstar, the vehicle of that is, putting Danielson in that match as him, being a guy that's over. It's been a legend of this business. The reason why you put him in that match is so you can get a Strickland over, not because you want to put him over, because you want to put Strickland over. So to me, if Swerve Strickland is the future of AEW, and we certainly believe he is.
Yes, right.
With Swerve at the end of the day. All right. Other AEW news, and we'll wrap it up from this story. According to the Sporting News, AEW is in what they call well-advanced talks in regards to bringing a major event to Australia that looks to be backed by TEG Entertainment Company, which would mark AEW's debut in the country at the same time to prove that the company is serious about traveling to Australia. 3 potential venues have already been discussed on the country's East Coast: the Allianz Stadium in Sydney, the Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane, and the Marvel Stadium in Melbourne, the latter of which holds the top attendance records in UFC history and played host to WWE's Global Warning event in 2002. Wrestling Incorporated has reached out to AEW for comment, but have yet to hear anything at the time of the writing. If the plans do end up panning out for AEW, 2025 could see multiple stadium shows for the company with this newly discussed event in Australia, the aforementioned stadium event in Arlington, and the company's official debut in Japan on January 5th as they take part in Wrestling Dynasty pay-per-view at the Tokyo Dome. All these shows follow the overwhelming success of AEW had for the first All-In London pay-per-view in 2023. What do we make of this? Because, they've gotten more international. Their pay-per-views have been very successful, even though the ratings are not necessarily there. We talked about the problems with AEW, how they have, it's a bloated roster. You're not doing enough storytelling there. There's not enough long-term booking, in your opinion. What do we think about this international series of going to Australia, having the success in London with their pay-per-views?
Oh yeah, they have to do something in the foreign, in foreign lands like the WWE. You always have to keep up with the Jones boys. But I do want to say, Dynamite's coming to Pittsburgh October 2nd, which is the day after my birthday, and the day before your birthday. I didn't realize you were Libra like I am. So there you are.
Yeah, there you go. Happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Good stuff there. So with that being said, we'll read this last comment, and then we will wrap it up from here. I really enjoyed the Caleb Sullivan.
Yes, that was a good feud.
Hogan feud in WCW. This is what I grew up on watching, both WWF and WCW. Scott, killing it as always. Appreciate the comments all night long. Ralph, thanks a lot for your time here on.
You're welcome. Let me say this. I have 2 wrestling federations here that I am sponsoring with. We have a sponsorship agreement, and I just wrapped up a 3rd one tonight. It's called Honorary Wrestling Federation. They're an independent company in Lewistown, Pennsylvania.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, my friend. Good luck with that. Let us know what you do here. I know you're going on vacation. So
yeah, I'm going to Erie, Pennsylvania, but I still will be on with you on Wednesday nights. So,
Sounds good, my friend.
I'm just not airing my shows. You can catch me on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. I have several shows there. Ralph Williams, RW Media. My new website's coming up real soon, and I'm about to go on Roku, and I'm getting ready to start uploading stuff onto Spotify. So RW Media Productions is starting to move along.
Good stuff, man. We're always moving and shaking here on the Evolution on Turnbuckle.
Always.
Appreciate the time as always, Ralph. See you later right there. Thanks a lot to all the guests tonight. Thanks a lot to all the star givers out there. Jackie and Charles Richardson, You understood the assignment and you followed it up just right. Thank you very much to the guest, of course, the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions and Amped Up Sports. Of course, the admin of I Love St. Pete Stan author on with us, and the bodyguard of the Berg, Mr. Ralph Williams with Turnbuckle Talk. Bucs versus Jaguars on Saturday night. We will definitely have a post-game edition. Once again, go to the new website here, the sportsweb.live. Go to that with all the great content. Like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake. And do 3 things for me on a happy creamsicle day. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the Sports Web and the Tampa Bay sports fan, it's your time. We'll see you next time on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Have a good night. And as always, go Bucs.